Hi guys! So recently on Netflix there was a series called Love is Blind.
I've met the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. I've never seen her before.
If you don't know what Love is Blind is, it follows 30 single men and 30 single women who meet through unconventional ways. So they get put into pods where they can't see each other but they can talk to each other, and basically they get to know each other through nothing but their personalities and what they want the other person to know. So it's a show to see whether love really is blind. And this got me thinking. So in the show, you could say that every single person within it is conventionally pretty. There's no one with any disabilities, or at least none that we know of. There's no one with, say, an uglier look to them that society wouldn't call pretty. And so I find this experiment really interesting, but I also think it could have been more. So, for example, you talk to someone for, some of them, the shortest was I think 4 days. You talk to them, you get to know them, you fall in love with them, and you ask them to marry you. All within 4 days, which seems crazy, but I guess it makes sense for the show. And then you finally meet them. And the person you meet on the show is someone who's pretty, who's attractive, who may not be your go-to, but is still an attractive human being. And I think it would be much more fascinating if they did the show with people who maybe weren't as conventionally attractive as what society sees them, and to really put it to the test. The only couple we really saw, spoilers, have any issue was Jess and Mark, and that was only because of the age difference. Jess was 34, Mark was 24, I believe, 25, and she just couldn't handle the fact that he was so much younger than her and was ready to settle down and have children. And that was quite interesting, but it would have been even more interesting to see a couple who aren't conventionally pretty and see how they cope with it, because in your mind, everyone has their perfect person. You prefer blondes to brunettes, or you like brown eyes over blue eyes, or they have to be under 5'2" or over 6'5". I don't know, everyone has their type. And so to really push it on this show would have been fantastic to watch. And then that got me thinking, because this show is all about proving that love is blind and that the attractiveness of someone doesn't matter as much as their personality and who they are inside, what does that mean for dating apps? I have used dating apps in my time and it's insane. I've written a review about it, I'll leave it below, on a TV show that was called Love Me Tinder, which was all about Tinder and how people use it in different ways. The guy on there used it to basically find young girls. He was in his 40s and he'd go after 20-something-year-olds. He'd find the young girls, get with them and then leave. And it's that sort of struggle with Tinder and Bumble and whatever else you use, is not only do you not know who that person is on the other side, they can tell you all this, that, the other, but they might not actually be that. But also, all you have to go off of is how they look. Yes, they have a bio, yes, they can fill out some quick get to know me questions, but really all you see when you first go on the app is someone's face. And it's almost like you judge from that person's face whether you want to say yes or no to them. And to me, that seems quite superficial. So for example, you could read through their bio and they could be the most perfect person. They love the films you do. They have the same goals and aspirations as you do, or at least they seem to. But they have weird ears. Oh God, they've got a mole on their chin. Oh, no, swipe left, goodbye. That's not exactly fair, is it? It's not exactly right. And I think it's wrong that people use these apps and just judge people by how they look. Now, with me, I've been judged before by the way I look. I'm 5'10", I'm blonde, I like to wear makeup, I like designer bags, I like shopping, I have fake nails, and people can look at me and think, oh, she seems a bit stuck up. Oh, I don't like her, she seems too up herself, all this. I've even had it before where people have gone to an ex-boyfriend and said, your girlfriend's really stuck up and we don't like her, just because they haven't spoken to me. The issue is also, not only do I come across a certain way with how I dress and how I like to make myself look, I'm also very shy. So I won't start a conversation with someone until they start talking to me, and then I can talk to them. But if you put me in a room of strangers and said, go make conversation, I would crumble. That would be my worst nightmare. And it's the same with these dating apps, in that even just to make a move on someone or talk to someone, you have to say yes to them. But the thing you're saying yes to is their body, is the way they present themselves. And for someone like me, who I compare myself to an ogre quite a lot and say I have a lot of layers, I should say like a layer cake, but I prefer the ogre analogy. Shrek has ruined my life. Shrek is love, Shrek is life. It can be quite hard because people look at me and think, oh, she's just blonde and tall and likes to wear short skirts and go out with her friends. And it's like, yes, I do like to do that, but I also like to stay in and watch movies and read the news and keep up with current events and learn new things. I'm not just one layer. There's lots of parts to me. And on these sort of dating apps, it's very hard to put those parts across. You know, you could say in your bio, oh, my celebrity crush is Jonah Hill and I like cooking and going outside and enjoying the sunshine and spending time with friends and family and all that, but at the end of the day, they're still gonna see this. I don't see how people got into relationships before this, like thinking about my parents or my grandparents or whatever. It just seems like such a different world, because the only way to meet them is at the pub or at a gig or whatever, you know, by chance. Whereas with dating apps, it's different. And that's another thing that I want to bring up, is my parents met at a gig and they started off probably as friends and then it grew into something. Whereas with dating apps, they're called dating apps, you know? I didn't use that correct there, but I'm leaving it in. And so when you're on a dating app, you expect to date. And does that put unnecessary pressure onto a relationship, onto what could be a really good friendship? If you don't get along with someone and you say, oh no, I'd like to stay as friends, it's more than likely you're not going to stay as friends. You're never going to see them again. And that's just how it is. And so I think dating apps put pressure on relationships because there is that pressure there to be something, to be in a relationship, to be searching for a partner. Yes, some people use dating apps just to hook up and have a good time, but for people who want a relationship, they turn to dating apps because it's the easiest way to meet people. Like, why would I put my eggs in the basket of going to the pub and meeting someone there where I don't know what their intentions are and how they're from my hometown, they're from somewhere near me, so they probably know everyone else in my circle as well. At least with dating apps, it gives you that chance to expand and meet people that you wouldn't have met otherwise. But at the same time, you then meet that person and you think, we're dating, we're not just hanging out, we're going on a date, it's going to be proper, we're going to go to a restaurant and we're going to talk about ourselves and it's going to be like a job interview, but it's going to be a date. And then you date again, and then you date again, and then it becomes something, or it doesn't. And so with dating apps, it's awkward. And to compare it to Love Island, they had to meet people without ever seeing them. They had to propose to people without ever seeing them. Can you imagine doing that? That would be insane. You just have to take a leap of faith that the person that you've fallen in love with fits how you want them to look too, or at least you find them attractive. Whereas with dating apps, it's the other way around. You find someone that you think is attractive and then you just hope and pray that they have the same goal as you in terms of dating and their personality matches up to their face. And let me tell you, a lot of the time it doesn't. It's a crazy world, dating, and it's hard. I'm no longer single, so I didn't have to deal with it, and I did meet my current boyfriend on Bumble. So there is the chance to find good people on there, but you've got to sift through so much of the horrible, horrible stuff to find it, and it can be quite soul destroying. So it makes me think, what if there was an app like Love Island? What if there was an app like Love is Blind? What if there was an app where you got a list, you got to know their name, you didn't get to know their age, where you can see things that you want to see. So you don't see any pictures, but you could see their name, and their information, what they want you to know about them. Like, I'm this, I'm that, I'm whatever. And if they want to reveal their age, they can. If they want to reveal their height, they can. But at the end of the day, you match people because of their interests, because of their personality. And only once you've matched with them do you actually get to see what they look like, to see if what you found interesting in what they told you about them matches with their face. Because then at least there's not so much of a pressure to look good. You don't have to worry about putting up the best pictures. Hey, I put up a picture that was heavily edited because I liked the picture, but I didn't like the way I looked in it. And that's just a lie. I didn't look. I did. I still look like me, but a much skinnier version of me. My other pictures weren't edited to change my body type or anything, but that one picture I wanted to use, but I hated how it looked as it did in real life. And so people can do that. So wouldn't it be so much nicer to find out about someone rather than, oh, I really like him, like he's got all the same interests as me, but his ears are really sticking out and I'm not ready to date Dumbo. It's not fair. You shouldn't have to feel that you're not good enough because of your face, you know? You should be able to get to know people based on who they are, not what they look like. And that's my issue with dating apps, is not only does it put pressure on people to think, okay, we're dating, so this is going somewhere, I'm gonna put all my eggs in your basket, and then the other person gets scared, moves away and leaves, but they also make you feel ugly. And that's not fair, because people can get hundreds of matches a day because they post a picture with a six-pack and they're on a jet ski and they look fun and they've got tattoos and they're bearded or whatever you're into. But then you get to talk to them and you find out that they're just another person who is just going to mess you about because they can. They probably swipe yes on every single person they see just to get hundreds of matches. And then when you try to talk to them, they just shut you down because you're not good enough. It sucks. And it would be great if we could, if there was a dating app where you got to know people without being able to see them. Because even just meeting someone at a pub or a gig, you don't just see a picture, you see them. You see their body language and how they hold themselves and how they interact with other people. On an app, you don't get that. You see their face, you see a picture that they want you to see, and of course they're going to pick the best ones. And then you've just got to decide whether you want to match with them or not. And then it comes to the fact that you might not match with them anyway. So dating apps are great to make relationships, obviously, and you can use them in any way you want. But I also think that dating apps put a lot of pressure on people to create that relationship and maybe create it too soon. There's an expectation that when you match with someone and you start dating, you're dating. You're not hanging out as friends. You're not getting to know each other as friends. There's an expectation of, this is the first date, this is the second date. Oh, do I kiss him? I don't know. Oh, then the third date, then the fourth date, then you're 2 months in asking, so what are we? In real life, you'd be friends. But in dating life, if you don't love me after 2 months, then clearly you're never going to. So I think dating apps are great. I mean, I met my partner on there, so of course I'm going to say that. But also, dating apps aren't the be-all and end-all. You shouldn't just spend your days sitting and swiping and hoping for the best, that someone will love you out there. Go out there. Get your hobbies. Do something you love. And then you'll find someone else who also loves the thing you love. And then it could blossom naturally. But yeah, it's the old saying, don't judge a book by its cover, because people have so many layers to them that you shouldn't just sign someone off because they've got a big nose or weird eyebrows. Sometimes it's good to get out of your comfort zone and see what could happen. So yeah, I don't really know what this video was. I've kind of rambled on for a long time, but I hope I can edit it down and make it something. But yeah, if you're single out there, don't lose hope. Because to be fair, single life is great. You should really relish it because you have all the time to do what you want and no responsibilities. And of course it's lovely to be loved, but don't spend all your time searching for it, because as I always say, and people hate me for saying it, when you stop searching, that's when it usually comes along. So yeah, I hope you have a good day and I'll see you next time. Bye!